All right, Rob, look, you and I have pushed this. We have said from the get-go, look, Roger Goodell, NFL, if you mean what you said, it was a nice apology, right? You said every single thing the players wanted you to say, almost verbatim. You apologized for squelching the peaceful protest of last year. You even, to this point at least, have defied President Donald Trump, which you didn't do last year or, in the past few years. But we have said that if you really want to put some teeth behind your statement, Colin Kaepernick should be offered a job. We know he's good enough. It's not his monetary demands. It's not his ability or lack thereof. It is the fact that he started all of this. And now some players, Malcolm Jenkins, have come out and said, Carlos Hyde as well, that Colin Kaepernick should be in the NFL. Here's Malcolm Jenkins today on CBS This Morning.
I still don't think they've gotten it right until they apologize specifically to Colin Kaepernick or sign him to a team. I don't think that they will end up on the right side of history. At the end of the day, they have listened to their players. They've donated money. They've created an Inspire Change platform. They've tried to do things up until this point. It's been one player in particular that they have not, or that they've ignored and have not acknowledged, and that's Colin Kaepernick.
Spot on.
There it is.
Spot on, Chris. Spot on right there. I loved it.
I agree. Like I said, we've been saying that, Rob. We've been saying that. This guy should be in the NFL, period.
And here's the other thing, too. I know we talked about this, too, on Skip and Shannon on Undisputed this morning, Chris. And there's people saying, well, if they bring him back, then it's going to be looking like just a token gesture or they're throwing him a bone or, they're just doing that. No, stop it. Stop it. This is not NFL welfare. How dare you? His career and job were taken from him. He wasn't some bum, Chris. He ain't some bum who never did anything in the league and you're throwing him a bone. This guy went to the Super Bowl and went to, 2 or 3 NFC championship games. Ron Jaworski thought he had the chance early on in his career to be the best quarterback we might have ever seen in the NFL. And it was all taken away from him because he was trying to do the right thing. Look out for other people, Chris. Not family members, not friends. It wasn't his brother who was killed. It was nameless and faceless people. And they took his opportunity away. Just like when they had to give him a settlement. Because they weren't against the job code, Chris, and laws, right, in this country. That's why they settled.
Right.
They didn't give him anything. Anybody who was unjustly fired in this country could do the same thing that Kaepernick did. They did that and settled with him rather than going through a trial because then all their phone records and all their emails, Chris, and everything would have exposed them, and it would have cost them even more. So don't make it like this is some sort of handout or welfare. This guy deserves to be in the NFL, and look at all the bums and also rans and retired couch potatoes who they've let in the league over the last couple years.
Well, that's my point too, Rob. And I get it because some people would write it off as PR. And perhaps Kaepernick would write it off as PR. I don't know that for certain he would even accept the job. What I'm saying, though, is he should be given the opportunity to accept or reject the job. Matt Ryan came out and said it as well on Twitter, that he believes Colin Kaepernick should have every opportunity to get a spot on a roster in this league.
Period.
Now, let me address the handout, all that. Enough of this. All right, every time a black person is given something, some people want to say it's a handout. Or, we don't want him to look like a handout. White people been getting handouts for 400 years. So stop it with the handouts. Joe Judge is a special teams coach. He just got the job of the New York Giants head coach. I could argue that was a handout. Josh McCown is 40 years old. Wasn't even that good when he was 30. He was given a job last year. That was a handout. So stop it with the handouts. Because I can go down the line of whites in sports and in society, economically, financially, educationally, judicially, who got handouts. And black people need to stop kicking that as well. Because you darn right we should get some handouts for all that we've done for this country. The GI Bill was a bunch of handouts. But we didn't get them. The white suburbs in this country were built from handouts to white people. We didn't get them. I don't want to hear no black person complaining about a handout. Reparations would be a handout. But everybody in this country's benefited from handouts. So we ain't going to be the only ones that if we're going to be shamed, if we're given something for what we've done, I just got to get that off my chest because enough of this.
I'll give you one. Yale University and some of these big schools, Chris,
legacies.
Right? They don't even pay taxes in New Haven. New Haven is one of the 3 poorest cities in the United States, and Yale sits in the middle of it, New Haven, Connecticut. Do people call that a handout that Yale gets a benefits from New Haven but doesn't pay into
Rob.
it?
Thank you.
That's
and
all.
You know New Haven could use it.
And you know, am I right? How in the world could they not
you
pay
been
anything?
To Yale is located in the hood.
The heart, right, of New Haven, Connecticut, because that's where Southern Connecticut is well. But those are the things, and people don't look at that. Why don't you call Yale out and say that's a handout?
Right.
That's all.
Right.
I don't want to hear that
either. Cliff Kingsbury, you failed at a lower level. Was that not a handout?
They ran you out of Texas Tech.
Right.
And he got a gig because he had a cup of coffee and a sweet roll with what's his name from
McVay?
Yeah, with Sean McVay. That's how he got the job, because he rubbed up against Sean McVay.
Come on, man. And how many people did you hear say that was a handout? I ain't hear any.
Nobody.
And so enough of that. But I'm with you, Rob. I think Kaepernick should get an offer. And I think we had Chris Canty on yesterday, and I disagree with Chris in that, he was like, well, Goodell, what can you do? Well, you did something with Michael Sam. You called the Rams, draft him. You won't have to appear on Hard Knocks. You can get Kaepernick in the league, especially after what Rob is looking more and more like a dog and pony show last year, right? With the workout? I mean, was that real or what was that?
We don't. That's what I'm saying. And then when people say that they don't know if he wants to play or not, Chris, if he didn't want to play, he wouldn't even shown up to that thing. Gone to Atlanta. Am I right? Come on, what are you doing? He could have said, that's nice, I'm not coming. Period. I'm not coming. He was there. He changed it, the venue, Chris. He derailed it last year. He derailed it from what they had set up. Because he could have said before that, that's not the way I want to do it, so I'm not going to show. But the bottom line, that he even showed up in Atlanta, told you that he's interested in football. So I'm with you. Enough with the handouts. He's a capable player. He just needs a chance and an opportunity to play.
Yeah, and I think, and we talked about this, Rob. Look, obviously it'll be controversial, but, if he had come back before, maybe it would have hurt a team's bottom line. But he comes back now, it might help a team's bottom line.
Maybe and that's Jacksonville doesn't have to play 3 games in Europe, Chris. Maybe they could sell tickets. You tell me if they had a Kaepernick Jacksonville Jaguars jersey right now, how that thing would be sold through the roof.
Right.
And the attention on that franchise. And that franchise being the only one with a minority owner, it would almost be fitting. The way I look at it. Because I'm sure that minority owner has been through his own trials and tribulations, Chris, to get to his wealth and how he made it.
No, I hear you. And here's the final thing on this, and we'll get to the callers. Rob, the league is going toward Kaepernick's strengths, right? He can run. He's got a strong arm. He's mobile. Now, I'm not saying he may not be that good. You know, he wasn't lighting the league on fire last we saw him, but he certainly was a capable quarterback. He's easily a backup caliber quarterback. He might even be a starter. He's, like I said, he's still young. But the fact is, his skill set is more and more teams are going that way, which makes even more reason why he should be in the league. So hopefully he gets a shot. And if he decides, look, I want to do activism, I don't think he just views himself as an activist. But if he does decide that, if he doesn't think the NFL is being sincere and he's got too much pride, whatever, that's on him. What we're saying is he should be given the opportunity to play in the NFL. He doesn't need to try out, I don't believe. Did McCown have a tryout at 40?
No, he got tryout on his couch is about it.
Right. Come on.
Don't you remember when who's the other quarterback from the Bears?
It's a few they picked up that you know what I'm saying? It's a few they picked up that last year.
Playing.
Remember? They were picking dudes left and right, guys who had retired and
guys who had played at low-level arena football leagues.
Yeah,
you remember
it was
that?
crazy.
That had no credentials.
All
and
right,
even
here we go.
even Jay Cutler's wife had to persuade him in going back. Do you remember that? Oh,
right,
my wife
they
talked
begged
me
Jay
into
Cutler
it.
to play again.
Yes.
Right. Should the NFL give Colin Kaepernick a job or not?
Let's kick it off with Nick in South Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, how are you guys?
What's
Doing
up,
good.
man?
Hey, I never got a chance to wish Chris happy anniversary last week, so happy anniversary, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Hey,
I
25
appreciate the
years
word.
is something, man. That's
It's
unbelievable.
amazing. It's amazing.
It is. 5 years was enough for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm not opposed to bringing Kaepernick back. I actually think he needs to come back. He should have never lost his job in the first place. But 2 points. It's really hard to play QB after a 3-year hiatus or 4-year hiatus. The thing is, he wasn't a superstar before then. It worked out for Vic because he actually was a superstar. I think for Cap, it's going to be a little bit harder. I think rather than just putting him on the bench and having the NFL save face, I think it'd be better if they bring him back maybe in some type of player ambassador role, which then it gives him some sort of long-term role with the NFL where he can help improve race relations, mentor new rookies, expand NFL horizons to other areas so that, the country can continue to work on race relations. And this way, Kaepernick has a role with the NFL, and they actually show that they appreciate the movement that he started.
And you know what? That's not a bad idea, but why can't that happen once he's done football years? That's all. He's a young man at 31 going to be 32. That's young. Tom Brady's about to play at 43, Chris.
Right. And Kaepernick's giving every indication that he wants to play.
He's a football player.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what he is.
He is. And I don't think Kaepernick just wants to be an activist. Because if he did, he'd be in a great position to do it. He's got the Nike money. He's got the settlement money from the NFL. He's got the money from his career.
Leading everybody.
Right.
He could have done all that stuff.
Yep.
Am I right? It tells you.
Every activist, if they don't have to worry about money, they can go do and say whatever they want. And Kaepernick doesn't have to worry about money. But he's done the I know my right, know your rights camp, and that's nice. But as you said, Rob, he hasn't become a spokesman. He's not always out there doing stuff. So he looks to me like he wants to play football. And then maybe afterwards he could do that.
No doubt. Chris, one other guy who got a handout, Todd Haley, remember, who played golf in college and wound up being an NFL head coach. Remember that guy.
All the nepotism in the sports.
That goes on, especially in the NFL. It's horrible. Marcel in Mississippi, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Chris and Rob? How y'all doing?
Great, man. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, man, Chris, I'm loving the fire that you put out a while ago, man. It's awesome, man. I love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, y'all spot on, dude. Like, Colin, don't forget he was in the Super Bowl. He was on his way to being a superstar. He was on this, like, he had commercials with the greatest, with the guys that's in the names of the NFL right now, like the Russes and things like that. He was on his way. And speaking of reparations, we should give him, what he lost for this situation. And, once he gets done in the league, like the last caller said, he should have a job similar to what Jay-Z doing. I mean, I think he'll be better at it.
Yeah, he would be better than Jay-Z.
Right.
But he I mean, we don't know what the settlement was. That was supposed
we
to
really
have
don't.
made
Because
up.
remember, we got two numbers, Chris.
Right.
We got a real high one, and then they said it wasn't as high, so we don't even know what it was. But they did have to pay him because they violated, you know what I'm saying? They had a chance of losing a case for wrongful termination. And it could happen to anybody working at any job if you're unjustly fired.
Right.
Jabari in Michigan, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jabari?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris and Rob. And I appreciate y'all bringing the fire every single night. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you,
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know
No
what?
problem,
We're not
bro.
going to cheat you. We're not going to cheat you.
Yeah, especially you, Rob, always showing, love for Detroit and everything. So I appreciate that.
22 years, my man. 22 years I lived
Yes,
there.
we do appreciate that. So
All
I
right,
just want to say that.
enough.
I want to say that definitely Colin Kaepernick should be offered a job. I think that he will be very, very great for, as a backup quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also, I can say he could be helpful for the Baltimore Ravens, or even for any team that I would feel like that circulate with predominantly black city, just because I feel like that it would be great for not only for the culture, but also it would definitely be a sellout. Like, it would be sold out in the stadiums if you have a guy like Colin Kaepernick for your team as a whole. Now, if he says that he doesn't want to play football anymore, then that's fine, but he should be given the opportunity. And I feel like that it wouldn't get the NFL off the hook, but at least they would be in a situation where they would be once again be held accountable for the actions that they have done 3 or 4 years ago. And I feel like that if they don't do that, I believe that it should be up to the player's decision to say, if you do not give Colin Kaepernick an opportunity again, we should sit out this season.
Well, look, that's challenging the players. That's putting them on the spot, Rob. And you and I have talked about they could get a lot of things done if they were willing to go that route.
If they stick together. All they got to do, Chris, is stick together. That's it.